I know that so many people in this world have never experienced or seen a miracle. I want to explain today how the miracle came to me of 20/20 vision, of sight, perfect vision and beyond, out of nature, out of loving the Creator, our Trinity Creator, out of tears of sorrow where the Creator heard me. Meaning this is not a source as in sorcery. It means it's not some type of magnetic field or whatever the scientists want to call it. It is a human feeling creator of all humans on this planet. All of the humans, every race of humans that it's created. At 18 years old on a high school tennis team. And 10 years ago, I entered qualifying for the U.S. Open at age 65. And it wasn't that I expected to win, I just wanted to participate in the game. Well, what is amazing through my life and the things that's happened, and I call it the blueprint of my life, or maybe it's called the destiny of my life. When I was 23 years old in the United States, I enrolled in a class of child education. The professor taught the entire semester through self-hypnosis. The professor taught each individual in the class how to hypnotize ourselves by looking at a single dot and going through a mind control process of getting in a hypnotic state. We all made very good grades. It was a wonderful experience to learn that. Then, years later, I kept doing this to relax and everything. And then in tennis, I decided that this was the way to play tennis. And many tennis players, professional players, will realize it's called the zone. And when you get into the zone, you're so focused on the ball as a pinpoint on the court. You're focusing and you're seeing where the ball is going to be going. But the zone, before a match, you visualize every stroke that you're going to have in the match, how you're going to play the match before the match is played. And sometimes a player will get in this zone. It's an out-of-body experience of the subconscious. The subconscious can play perfect tennis without any effort. It's an amazing feeling and experience to have. Now, the next state of this is through this miracle of 20/20 vision. Reading small print at 75 years old without needing glasses is the most incredible thing in my life. And I know that people don't want to believe in miracles, but the Creator gives us miracles. And I want to do this as my testimony to the Creator of how powerful this source is. And when you start working with it every day, how more powerful it becomes within your life and within your Whenever we practice every day, like over the past 4 years, of silent meditation, of not crossing legs like in a kundalini or a Hindu position, just naturally listening in nature, maybe sometimes listening to music, this beautiful music, that will help us get out of our bodies into an OBE or out-of-body experience. And it isn't necessary for us to have a near-death experience to have white light or to visualize the white light. It can be done within our bodies. It does exist. It's a white healing light that we all have for self-healing. As remarkable as this sounds, I can say it's true. Through integrity of my word, it is true that we have all this in our bodies. We have the 7 colors of the rainbow. We have a white light that is activated within our bodies. So what we see on real meditation, we see inside our bodies. We're not seeing a hallucinogenic thing outside of our bodies that isn't going any further than worshiping the serpent, like the Hindus are into the serpent worship and the kundalini. So this is totally different. This goes beyond that. It goes out of the astral zone. This goes up to the Creator, beyond that. And every single day, the more we practice, the more that we continue reprogramming our brains with I am that I am. I am that I am. And we look up. We don't look down. We're not in resignation or we're going to be defeated. We have no fear. We have no fear because you have no fear of death. And especially When you live in integrity and honesty, the Creator knows our hearts. So anyone who is an honest person, has integrity, no matter where they are in the world. They don't have to be in religion, a church, or nowhere. Most churches are corrupt. They're controlled by Satan and are all about money. But when people have this in nature and a connection, miracles happen, and they see things every day, beautiful things. You see the real matter. You see what nature is. You see the matter coming into your eyes, into the magnificent eyes that we have. Like our eyes with all of the cones and the spheres, we have an infinite amount of color, just like the Creator. We have a palette of infinite color that we use to see things, and it's real. It's not hallucinogenic. It's not a lie. And the world that we live in as humans today, as the human race, as human Gentiles, is a fake world of hallucinogenic gods, of gods that are mythology. That's nothing is real, because that's what Satan wants us to believe, is nothing is real, as he takes over this world and tries to get rid of humanity.
Way I can tell you that I am conscious is through some sort of action, either by, telling you or by demonstrating. If you take something like so-called disorders of consciousness, vegetative state, minimally conscious state, you don't have those things with some of these patients. They are, by definition, unable to produce the sorts of responses that the rest of us would use to demonstrate that we were conscious.
For Dr. Owen, what began as a simple study of consciousness turned into an unprecedented discovery. He conducted tests on a 23-year-old woman in a vegetative state. The results have revolutionized science's understanding of the brain.
She was the victim of a road traffic accident and had been examined periodically for 5 months, and on each examination had all of the necessary criteria for a diagnosis of vegetative state. So we put her in an fMRI scanner, and we asked her to imagine playing a game of tennis. In this scan, when you hear the word tennis, I want you to imagine standing on a tennis court playing a game of tennis. We picked this task because it's something that we've tried many times in healthy volunteers, and we know this produces quite a specific activation in an area in the middle and the front of the brain called the supplementary motor area. And this area controls upper body movements, and if you lie in the scanner and imagine moving your body around as you would if you were playing a game of tennis, you get very strong activation in this area of the brain. So while she was in the scanner, we instructed her that when she heard the word tennis, we'd like her to start imagining this task and carry on until we said rest. And when we did this, her brain activated just like a healthy volunteer. So on this basis, we concluded that she wasn't vegetative at all. She was entirely consciously aware. That was pretty exciting. We had another task that we used. It was important to show that this wasn't just an automatic reaction, but if we changed the task, the brain activation would change. So we used a type of spatial navigation task where we asked her to imagine moving from room to room in her house. And this pretty much always activates an area deep inside the brain called the parahippocampal gyrus in healthy volunteers. Never seen it before in a vegetative patient, but nonetheless, when we asked her to imagine moving from room to room in her house, the parahippocampal gyrus activated just as it would in a healthy volunteer.
Owen's groundbreaking work opens new questions about where consciousness begins and ends. Is too complex.
AI is very interesting. You can't make a horse out of feathers. It would be very tough to make a computer out of cloth. And you can't make a conscious mind out of silicone chips.
Constructing a human brain will require a computer 1,000 times more powerful than any currently in existence. It would take at least 3 football fields to house such a computer. But Markram says the goal is within reach, to create a conscious artificial intelligence.
The data is there, the technology is there to explore it.
In America, belief in reincarnation is growing. Part of this is driven by celebrities who, say they believe in reincarnation. Julia Roberts recently told Elle magazine that she thought of herself as very Hindu, and she talked about her daughter and how her daughter clearly embodied somebody else. My personal opinion is that Americans like reincarnation because, comparatively speaking, life here is good. And it's one thing to want heaven, which is an eternal destination somewhere else, when life is bad on earth and you want to get out.